Mario, the Italian plumber we all know and love. And boy do we love him. Mario was the figurehead of the most successful video game franchise in history, with more than 750 million sales worldwide. He's a character displaying heroism, courage, and determination as he saves an innocent princess from the brutal tyrant Bowser. But when we scratch the surface just a little, when we get a glimpse into the actions and attitudes of your childhood hero, we find something new, something disturbing. We get a glimpse of a sadistic, ruthless, and implacable character guilty of an array of crimes, atrocities against nature. But to assess Mario's actions, we need a ubiquitous and universal system. We can't apply the laws of suburban Australia to the Mushroom Kingdom. So, Mario's actions will be judged against the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, a court trusted to try and condemn the worst of the worst, individuals who violated international laws, war criminals, genocidal maniacs, and maybe a couple of video game characters. As well as assessing his actions, Mario's sadistic and savage ideals will be analysed, allowing us to get a glimpse into the dark and depraved mind of this monster, proving that, even though his actions are controlled by you, he is not deserving of acquittal. Because Mario is a criminal, guilty of atrocities against nature, and he is deserving of a lifetime sentence for the safety of both his friends and foes, as well as his world as a whole. Regardless of personal opinions or experiences, it can't be denied that Mario's done some things. And some of these things just happen to violate universal laws of conflict and warfare. These universal laws are outlined by the International Criminal Court, defining the actions that constitute crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide. An example of a war crime is the extensive destruction of property carried out unlawfully and wantonly, or employing weapons which are of a nature to cause unnecessary injury or suffering, or intentionally directing attacks against civilians. But Mario didn't attack any civilians, right? Right? Okay, so maybe Mario did violate a couple of laws, but it's okay because it's war and he's saving a princess, so his actions are justified and excusable, right? No, Mario acted unilaterally, declaring himself as judge, jury, and executioner. And Mario isn't a soldier or part of any military, he's just some guy who ran into a war zone and massacred civilians and combatants alike, using prohibited weapons and unlawfully destroying property. And these aren't even all the laws he's broken. So Mario, the heroic and brave plumber, is a war criminal, violating laws on both an international and moral level. Now usually war crimes result in a sentence of up to 30 years, but due to the gravity and sheer number of transgressions, Mario is deserving of a life sentence in Cupertraz State Prison. And you know what? He'd fit right in, because alongside being a violent and vicious war criminal, Mario was a sadistic, cruel, and abusive monster. But let's go back to the beginning. Donkey Kong. You know it. Mario tries to save a damsel in distress from the evil grasps of Donkey Kong. But in this game's lesser-known prequel, Donkey Kong Circus, an interesting truth is found. Mario was Donkey Kong's master, a ringleader who whipped and mistreated this poor monkey, laughing at his failure and his pain. This abuse led DK to take his revenge, giving us the game we all recognize, Donkey Kong. But directly after Donkey Kong, we see Donkey Kong Jr. In this game, Mario is the main antagonist, holding DK captive and hindering his child's attempts of liberation, taking advantage of their paternal bond as he attacks and tries to murder the baby monkey. These games show that Mario is undeniably an animal abuser, but that's not even the worst of it, because I'd argue that he enjoys it, that he delights in bringing pain and suffering on those unfortunate enough to stand in his way. With every jump, every stomp, every violation of international law, he cheers joyfully. The sheer joy and enthusiasm Mario displays, paired with the complete lack of remorse or guilt, portray Mario as a cruel and sadistic character. Regardless of the various crimes he's committed, Mario should be jailed for the safety of himself and the entirety of the Mushroom Kingdom. Because Mario murders indiscriminately, without guilt or remorse, feeling only joy as he massacres multitudes. yahooing through the atrocities he commits. But one could argue that Mario isn't in control of what he does, that his path and pathological actions are at the behest of the player, because it's a video game, is it not? Now, I'm not going to delve too far into religion or philosophy, but what if you, dear viewer, are controlled by a higher force? What if you are but a character in a video game played by God? What if this is The Sims? Would that erase your misdeeds? Would you be absolved of any crimes? No. If you murdered hundreds of Goombas and Galoombas, you couldn't argue that God made you do it. Regardless of a higher power, you would have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And so does Mario. Is he guided by a player? Yes. Does that absolve him of his crimes? No. Does he still have a history of abuse and cruelty? Does he still yahoo with glee as he kills? Mario, the name of one of modern history's most recognized and appreciated characters. The name of a war criminal, a sadist, an abuser, a man guilty of atrocities against nature, and a man deserving of a lifetime prison sentence. Because Mario has clearly violated various international laws without remorse or second thought. Because Mario revels in the massacre of friend and foe. Because Mario has a history of depravity, cruelty, and abuse. So next time you play Super Mario, or Smash Bros, or Mario Kart, take a closer look at the character you've come to love and see his cruelty for yourself. Because Mario is a criminal, guilty of atrocities against nature, and he is deserving of a lifetime prison sentence for the safety of his friends and foes alike, and for the safety of the very world he inhabits. Yahoo.